All right, all right. Welcome to the Doug TenNapel channel, Doug in Exile. We are live as of right now, I think. I see someone in the chat. I see Kim Harris out there. Thank you for joining me, Kim. It's you and just 8 other people. Okay. We have a quorum here. What I did was, and I'm a little late on this, okay, on the presentation of this actual show, but this is like midway through, I would say. Let's see. I was looking at C-SPAN and now I realize I'm over on Fox News, which means we could get commercials in the middle of this thing. You guys know how bad I am at this, all right? I'm still figuring it out. Cut a guy a little slack. Okay. Let me find where's my feed? Okay. Oh boy. Oh, holy cow. Everyone's piling in now. Suddenly everyone comes all at once. Thank you for joining me, my people, to the Doug TenNapel channel. Let me do, which one are we? Yeah, see, I've got other episodes open at the same time. I'll get there as well. Okay, here we go. Look, this is from a half hour ago. So I'm just going to start right here with an introduction. You guys know who I am. You guys know where I've been, and you guys are my audience. I recognize a ton of your names now that we've been doing this live for a while here. There's from Crystal Flower. You guys know that you say where you're from. You give us a thumbs up. You leave a comment of where you're from because it helps pump the channel. Look, there's Pflugerville. I had a friend who used to live there in Pflugerville. King Turk. That's out by Austin, right? Okay. From the Netherlands. Everyone come in, say hi. It's a beautiful day. Yes, it is. Here's someone from Ohio. They're calling me boss. That's correct. I am now your employer. There's my people in Tennessee. Teresa Adams. Fuzzy Doxy. There's Minnesota with Todd Horter. There's some Connecticut. I can't get to all these guys. I'm going to click through them as fast as I can. There's Gregory Mursky. I recognize many of you guys who use photos in your avatar. I recognize you guys. Indiana, Old Forest, North Carolina. We got an Austin boy. I'm from Dallas, or as they say from Dallas, Austin. The problem is it thinks it's Berkeley. Okay, there's my Murfreesboro people, just a little south and east from me is Murfreesboro, Tennessee, just right down there. Oregon, LA, Phoenix. There's AC Cruz. Hello. Welcome. Michigan, Florida, Oregon. And there's all kinds of international people here too. All right. Another Arizona. There's a Redding. One of my dad's favorite places in the world was Redding, California. Okay. There's Australia. Now we're getting my people from another country and another planet. I just saw something in Australia where they have these they're called blue bottles. I think they're a jellyfish or something that's washing up on shore. And it's why no one goes swimming in their beautiful warm water because they have these things called blue bottles. Santa Fe, foothills. Holy smokes. Okay, we're getting through it all. Now, you guys know the rules. There's no pressure ever on the money thing. But basically, it costs me $100 to do one of these shows. It reduces the channel's income because YouTube does not like when I do live streams and regular episodes. So this episode was paid for last night by my generous donors. And I mean, people giving like $50 each. You guys don't have to do that. I like when everyone gives $5 instead. But if you can get me up to $100, then that'll buy tomorrow night's live show. If I don't raise it, it's okay, right? I'm not going to sit here and starve. I'll just do a normal episode tomorrow night instead of a live one, and it'll bring in the money. Okay. So no matter what, but I'm just saying, if you want me live, chip something in, because otherwise I have to upload a normal episode. There's a $5 super sticker. Love you too much. Thank you. Love you too much. And anyone who gives, you could ask a question. It'll go up on the screen for a certain amount of time. I always share the super chats. Now, without further ado, This spending bill, right? We're predicting, I believe, we're all predicting it's not going to go through, even though I want it to go through purely because it's the Trump agenda. Doug, show me one of your comic characters. I've got comic characters just all over. You want to see a comic character? You guys want to see some comic characters real quick? Real quick. Someone wants to see a comic. Here, I'll show you. Hold on. So over here's an example. If you see in the background there, you see all this? These are original comic book pages. Do you see them all stacked up here on the floor? This is like, oh, what, 1,000 comic pages here from that I've done over the years. This is from a book. It's unpublished called Hicks and Bragg, just so you can see some of my artwork. Here, I'll put it right up on camera, okay? Yeah, I got a whole lot of yeses. You guys want to see some comics before we get to the live news. Look at this. So this is ink on paper. You see that? Ink on paper. Now, just so you can see how many comic pages I do, this is half of a book about art fraud there. Guns, good action, good characters. See, there. He's a construction worker too. Okay. Oh, that's a Rubens Bruegel. He's standing in front of a Rubens Bruegel painting. So this one here. So that's based on a real painting by Rubens Bruegel. You can see him. He's looking up close at the painting. There, that's a full pager. See that? Okay. That is my normal job. Okay. Now we got to get to my other job. Okay. There. Yeah, I'm talented. I'm so talented. I'm so talented that I have to do YouTube videos on the news to make a living. This is my full-time job, by the way, doing YouTube videos. And some of it is because the comic market is up and down. You know, I've been doing comics for 28 years. And you know, that pay goes up and down. And back when Hollywood bought a lot of my intellectual properties, you know, I could sell them for like, some of them for as much as like $500,000. I think I sold one to Universal once for $1 million. And I was, you know, that's what it costs to live in LA and, you know, have a house. Well, you know, I came out against gay marriage and just all that dried up. Boop. So all gone. It's okay. You know, you can keep your money. Thank you. I'll keep my freedom and what rolls around in my own head and heart. However, now I need you guys to watch my videos and super chat. That's how I make my living now. Mostly by you guys just watching my videos is payment. Every time you watch a commercial or if you subscribe to YouTube, a little bit of that payment goes to the videos that you watch. And if you watch some of you watch all 5 videos a day, all the way through, can't ask for more. Another super chat from Layla Gothard, $5 super sticker. Thank you so much for paying for the next show. There's another $5 super chat, Michael P. You have a gift that many would dream to have. It's weird because it sure doesn't feel like a dream. It's almost like a prison sentence. It's like, I can only be an artist. It's all I do, you know, is see things visually. And I think of film projects and comic books and animated series, and I made video games. And it's just like, it almost ruins your family because they're so hard to pull off. So I'm happy that you guys are happy with my gift. But I'm kind of, it's weird. You kind of get over it. You know, after your first success when I was 27 years old, I'm 58 now. That was 30 years ago. I had my first success. You kind of get over it because you realize you meet all the people in the industry and you see that you get to see how the sausage is made, and it removes all of the romance from animation, video games, and comic books. There's nothing, it's all work I love the work, but there's just not a lot of romance left in it. Whoa. $20 super sticker from Intruve super sticker. Thank you for that super chat. I appreciate it. Let's get to Hakeem Jeffries. Now, look, for all I know in the future, I believe this thing has already been voted on and gone down. We're going to scrub ahead on a lot of this video, okay? We're just going to start here. This is to get us all in the room. This is from, we're on a 40-minute lag right now.
Who are suffering from painful exposure to toxic
Don't worry, I'm not
substances,
going to subject you
Agent
guys
Orange,
to
and
too
burn
much of
pits.
Hakeem Jeffries, okay?
And this bill,
I just want to get us in the room
before
here.
this House cuts billions of dollars in that health care that is desperately needed. That's an attack
Look at the guy in the background.
on veterans.
What game is this guy
It's
playing
an
back
attack
here?
on
He looks like he's
children and
playing Candy
families in
Crush.
America, because this bill cuts funding for nutritional assistance
He might be watching this show.
that would otherwise be available for everyday Americans to put food on the table.
Oh, everyday Americans' food on the table. Okay.
When people are already struggling because grocery prices aren't going down, they're going up under this administration.
Now, this
And yet-
grocery prices aren't going down, they're going up on this administration. Suddenly Democrats care, you know. They didn't care for the last 4 years when grocery prices weren't going up. I mean, weren't going down, they were going up. Yeah, they do. They all look bored to death. So I'm going to scrub ahead a little bit just so I put you in the room, right? We can make fun of this guy. This is a man wearing a pink tie. Okay. He's a Democrat. What do you expect? Let's scrub ahead a little bit. I'm going to get through that's about 5 minutes. Let's see what this guy, so they're going to take a vote here.
Gentleman from Oklahoma is recognized.
Gentleman from Oklahoma.
Speaker, I yield myself such time as I may consume. I have great respect for the Democratic leader and certainly great respect and personal friendship for a distinguished ranking member of the Appropriations Committee. But I don't know what bill the leader read, but it certainly wasn't this bill. We've heard a lot of time about Social Security. There's nothing in this bill.
I had to stop on that. Where's his sign? Hold up the sign. Musk is a criminal.
Security, not a single thing. We heard a lot about Medicare. We don't deal with Medicare on the Appropriations Committee. It's not in here. We heard a lot about Medicaid. It's not in here either. Could be dealt with. It'll be dealt with in a reconciliation bill, but not this bill. This bill is about keeping the government open, something my friends pride themselves on and have often patted themselves on the back on. You got the opportunity to do it today, but that's all this bill does. It does a couple other interesting things. It actually, my friend said, we cut fund for food support. Doesn't do that. It actually adds $500 million to WIC. He said you cut support for housing. It doesn't.
Okay, so his sound is going to naturally be lower than mine. Okay, if you guys can't hear it, you can let me know, of course, but there's not a lot I can do to get his sound up. Oh, no, I can. Look right there. Holy cow.
Doesn't do that. It
we
actually
go.
adds money
That should
to the
help.
housing accounts. If you actually go through the bill, the charges made simply don't have much to do with what's in this bill. The simple reality is we're either going to keep the government open or we're going to shut it down. If you want to keep the government open, keep working on these problems, you vote yes. If you want to shut the government down, throw the country into chaos, you vote no.
Okay, I'm going to scrub ahead a little bit.
Gentlewoman is recognized.
It's Baba
The
Yaga.
president has no legitimate authority by the Constitution to insert himself into the appropriations process. I yield 2 minutes to the gentleman from Maryland, the distinguished ranking member of the Financial Services and General Government Subcommittee, Mr. Hoyer.
Gentleman's recognized.
Okay, that was Baba Yaga. She's my favorite. She's my favorite Democrat, that purple-haired lady. Looks like she came out of the Dark Crystal. This is, there's Fred Cook, $2 super chat. Test my first time. Thank you, Fred Cook. We love the small donations to appreciate it. You've taken your first step into a larger world, Doug. There you go. Okay, we're going to keep purple-haired people eater. When they're Democrats, they're literal people eater. Skeksis, that thing. Snidely Whiplash, grandma. Hagraven, Skyrim. Okay. Some of the names, guys, I'm not going to be able to repeat some of these names, okay? Skeksis, okay. I'm going to keep scrubbing ahead till we get caught up. As you can see, we've got quite a way to catch up yet.
Well, thank the gentlelady for yielding. And I
Thank you,
adopt
Candy Smith.
all of
$10
what
super chat.
the leader said. notwithstanding the rebuttal from the chairman of our committee. This bill is about giving Trump more unfettered power. That's what this bill is about. This country is in crisis and chaos
You know what? It's not.
over the last 45
The only chaos that we're having is complete corruption of the government, probably both sides, but mostly Democrats. This pork that we've been covering being funded. I'm going to keep skipping ahead to guys. This guy, Scalise.
saying things that were in the bill when it wasn't even written, Mr. Speaker. You heard them talking about cuts to Medicare, cuts to veterans. The bill wasn't even written, and they were already making up stories to try to figure out how to vote no and shut the government down. That's sadly where this Democrat Party has gotten. The Democrat Party of today is a leaderless, rudderless ship. They don't have an agenda. You saw it at the State of the Union, Mr. Speaker, when you saw President Trump not only laying out his agenda that 77 million people, a majority of Americans, went to the polls to elect. The mandate that President Trump got, not just with a majority of Americans and a majority of the Electoral College, but all seven out of 7 swing states all voted for President Trump because they wanted that agenda implemented. And what irrates the Democrats the most? The fact that President Trump is following through on the promises that he made, actually doing the things he said he would do. He's securing the border. That was the number one issue.
Okay,
Recognized.
The president,
no offense on Mr. Scalise, but we're going to keep moving through these till we get caught up to the live. Okay.
did make a promise to drive down the cost of living. Instead, he's driven up prices. With that, I want to recognize.
Well, with that, I'll get you and your little dog too. Look, there's a Fred Cook super chat. Have you uncovered any news on how some folks will vote? Well, we're getting caught up to that first vote now. And my prediction is it's going to go down. Okay. But we'll go, I'll give each person a little sound bite and then I'll move on to the next one.
American people. We're going to build a stronger economy. We're going to lower costs, and we're going to have safer communities. But for 7 weeks, we have seen nothing but ideas and bills that break that promise. We all want government to run more efficiently, to be better for people who depend on it.
Gary.
But stealing money from the Veterans Administration, from schools, from law enforcement, from
Yeah, she's accusing Trump of stealing money from the Veterans Administration. They're about to shut down the government where none of them are going to get paid. You know what I mean? And they're like, they're so against stealing money from the veterans.
children's health care
We're gonna skip
and
ahead.
giving it to a tax cut to the
We can also do a little bit of a fashion show here. I always like commenting on people's fashion. I like the purple coat or the purple shirt underneath it with the chain. I don't like both together. It's a camouflage unit. You have to pick what would look good under this? A yellow or gold shirt under this purple number. My men who are blind to fashion, I can only apologize because I'm an artist. Okay. I have to do the fashion show runway thing. I like her silver hair a lot. I like the straight silver hair look. That works for her. Okay, let's move on from this Democrat.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I yield 3 minutes to my very good friend and a senior member of the Appropriations Committee, the gentleman from Idaho, Mr. Simpson.
Gentleman's recognized.
I thank the chairman for yielding. And first, let me say, I appreciate the work the chairman has done over the last several months, trying to get our regular appropriation bills done and then trying to get this CR finished when it became apparent we weren't going to be able to negotiate a top line yet. Something that we will continue to work on. But there's a lot of things that have been said on this floor that I have to say just aren't true. Not a different interpretation of the facts. They're just not true.
She's calling them liars.
There's nothing in here that cuts Social Security. There's nothing in here that cuts Medicare. There's nothing in here that cuts Medicaid. But yet I keep hearing that. That's the talking points that were created before this bill was actually written. It is difficult to write a year-long CR. First time I can remember it being done. It's almost harder writing that than it is writing the regular appropriation bills because we have to put anomalies in it. Things that have to be done as we move on with the regular funding. The reason I've been able to support this CR and will vote for it is because of the work that our chairman, Mr. Cole, has done with some of these anomalies that were absolutely necessary. In the interior arena, there were 4 anomalies that really needed to be addressed to get this CR done. One is it fully funds PILT payments, which is an estimated level of $600 million, $85 million above what was the current level. In Indian country, the CR increases funding for Indian health services to expand availability and direct health care services, funding the Bureau of Indian Affairs, BIA.
Okay, well, I don't know why I'm funding Indian healthcare bills. Okay, this is a Republican. We're gonna give his suit. You know, I think I have a suit like that. It's like J.C. Penney's from 1989. But the tie is tasteful. It's a little too tasteful. I like a little more rock and roll. Okay, let's keep moving
I
on.
yield 2 minutes to the gentlewoman from Ohio,
Oh.
the distinguished ranking member of the
Holy moly, someone dumped all the crayons out on the floor.
Energy and Water Subcommittee, Ms. Capter.
Gentlewoman is recognized for 2 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, I thank the ranking member DeLauro for allowing me this time. This bill was drafted by Musk's greed machine.
I almost just did a spit take on that one. She brought visual with us. This is the billionaire tax bonanza for 1% for the richest. And they get for the richest person in the world. Elon Musk is selling America out. Is that right over here? Does that say $36,000? Or is that millions? I don't know. Anyways, one thing I know is Elon Musk is not here helping, doing it in the name of greed. So we're going to skip past her. I'm not just looking for agreement here. I'm going to try and give you a flavor of all these gentlemen. Now it's the Republican turn.
To tell you, as I sat here on this floor listening to the conversation, it reminded me of an old saying that my father had for many, many years. I heard this, that a lie can travel around the world 3 times before the truth can get up and put its pants on. Well, that was before the internet. So now, after what I've heard today, I would say it's probably more like 100 times a lie can travel around the world before the truth can get up and put its pants on. And I happen to know that House Republicans have been working diligently to fully fund the core federal government services so that President Trump and his administration can continue to identify the waste, fraud, and abuse of American tax dollars, protect our border, and support Americans, including our veterans, contrary to what you heard.
Yeah, all the fear mongering on it's taking veterans away. Look, why don't they just tell the truth? I wish everyone would just tell the truth. You know what the truth is? Trump is a Republican, so we're going to support him. And the Democrats are not Republicans, so they're not going to support him. You guys don't have to give any other reason than that. Now, Thomas Massie and Rand Paul, who are not voting for this CR bill, they can give an argument for why they're voting for the Democrats. They'll come in and talk to you about how they want to decide to make the government stop spending money on Trump's watch this week. They want the government to suddenly stop spending money this week while Trump is trying to use his strength and power and Doge to reform the government. Okay, we're going to skip ahead. Let's get to the next Democrat up here. We're coming. We're going to get caught up in just a couple minutes, guys. Ooh, this is a lovely number. I like the white coat and black and gray underneath it. That works. And it works with her silver hair really well. See, if you combine white and black, you get gray. So this outfit makes sense.
Republicans have turned over congressional power to direct funding to Elon Musk and President Trump. The Republican appropriations process for fiscal year 2025 is.
That lady looks like we went into the future about 40 years and grabbed Joy Reid and stuck her over there. There she is right back there with her hands crossed.
Been a disaster. Republicans have had 18 months to write, pass, and negotiate these spending bills. They failed. The Republican leadership never wanted to negotiate with Democrats. with their slim majority in the House would have required. So here we are stuck with a full year CR.
That jacket is a little big. Whoever's making that point, she looks like David Byrne from the Talking Heads in that video, Stop Making Sense, when he has that giant white coat. It's a little big on her.
Something that's never happened in the history of this nation. It's a complete failure to govern. Making things worse, the CR cuts $13 billion from domestic priorities that Americans rely on. I'll mention a few, like life-saving medical research at the NIH. Rent assistance for low-income working families are cut. Republicans failed to include $22 billion in advanced appropriation funding for the VA Toxic Exposure Fund. This jeopardizes the health of our veterans exposed to burn pits and—
Look at that lady in the back going through her purse. I'm going to get a Werther's Original. I'm going to get a Wrigley's Gum. Okay, let's skip ahead to the Republican here. Recognized right there.
A clean continuing resolution which funds government through September 30, 2025. I think my colleagues on the other side of the aisle are confused about what is in this bill and what is not.
I can't hear her over that coat.
They keep talking about impacts to mandatory spending, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. That is not in this bill. Just because you keep repeating the same dishonest talking points doesn't make it true.
True.
This legislation continues funding and prevents a government shutdown, which would have a devastating impact on my home state of Oklahoma and communities across the country. We must keep government open so we can continue the America First agenda, which is focused on securing our border, unleashing American energy, safeguarding our nation, and rooting out waste, fraud, and abuse. This legislation fully supports our vets and service members. It does not cut 1 cent from the toxic exposure funds or eliminate COPS grants. Continuing resolutions are not ideal, but we cannot allow—
Well, older ladies are always digging in their purses because it's like a junk drawer. And then they pull out, it's always like a used Kleenex, a little crumpled up. I saved a Kleenex. Okay, this lady's talking about how she needs the funding. That's going to be the Republican side. We're going to say we need the funding. Oh, this is that chick. There she is. Look at that fraud. Used to work for the Clinton administration.
1,000 veterans, domestic violence survivors, seniors, and people with disabilities into homelessness. And what does this spending patch do as we all now stare down the barrel of another Trump recession? It hands an unelected billionaire free rein to keep stealing taxpayers' dollars and paves the way for billionaires and big corporations to luxuriate in more tax breaks. This isn't a clean CR. This CR stands for cut and run. It lets Trump close hundreds of Social Security offices and fire thousands of workers who deliver our seniors checks.
Thanks, Lord, for cutting. Notice, not the actual money, but the people who deliver the checks is what it cuts. She's trying to protect the administrators. Let's skip ahead a little bit here. Here's Chip Roy. He's on Trump's S list, but we like him.
My, how times have changed. How many times we've been sitting on the floor of the House, listening to our colleagues on the other side of the aisle saying, a CR is the greatest thing since sliced bread. We must have the CR. Because when some of us were saying, wait a minute, Mr. President, wait a minute, President Biden, maybe we should actually secure the border of the United States instead of letting millions of people flood in and kill Americans and let fentanyl flow into our communities. So when we wanted to secure the border and we dared to say that the funding should actually reflect that, and we threatened to, hey, maybe we should actually have a fight on spending, my colleagues on the other side of the aisle said, CR, we got to have a CR, our precious CR. Well, here we are. And what are we doing? Our colleagues oppose the CR. Why? Because we would have spending frozen for 6 months, down about $7 billion, but importantly, allow DOGE and allow our friends in the administration to continue to expose the absurdity of federal spending. How about $1.5 million to advance diversity, equity, inclusion in Serbia's workplaces? $70,000 for production of a DEI musical in Ireland. $2.5 million for electric vehicles in Vietnam, $47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia, $32,000 for a transgender comic book in Peru. This is what our Democratic colleagues are fighting for.
Now, I normally like comic books, But the trans comic book in Peru, all I'm for cutting that.
To continue to fund absurd programs rather than do the common sense work of what we're trying to do to have more beds for ICE, secure the border of the United States, ensure that our defense is funded, ensure that we're able to hold spending in check so we can actually have a chance of saving this great country. I yield back.
Gentleman yields. Gentleman from Oklahoma reserves. Gentlelady from Connecticut is recognized.
The gentleman confirms what we've been saying all along, impoundment. I yield 2 minutes to the gentlewoman from Maine, the distinguished ranking member of the Interior and Environment Subcommittee, Ms. Pingree.
And does anyone have any delicious children I can eat? I mean, next speaker, please.
Gentlewoman is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you very much to the ranking member for yielding me this time. I oppose this full year continuing resolution and urge my colleagues to reject it. If we vote no and reject this CR, we can go back to work and negotiate.
Yeah, I like Chip Roy too. This lady, I like her peppy hair. I think I like the sharp shoulders on the suit. It's a little frumpy. The scarf's a little frumpy, a little too big. It's swallowing you up like a great whale.
A regular full year spending bill. This full year continuing resolution is not a responsible way to govern. The bill does not set funding levels for individual programs. And because it doesn't, it creates another dangerous opportunity for President Trump and Elon Musk to defund congressional priorities. And we all know what a disaster that has been for our country. An illegal, unconstitutional disaster. It is the duty of Congress to negotiate regular spending bills. This means that we
Okay, the 80s do. The 80s want their shoulder pads back. All right. She looks like Elaine from an early episode of Seinfeld. Let's get to a Republican here. Oh, this guy's good.
Democratic colleagues. A bunch of lies that maybe they sincerely believe. The reality is this bill does not touch Social Security. It does not touch Medicare. It does not touch Medicaid. Those programs are fully funded and protected. Our veterans fully funded and protected. Fiscal year 24 was a total of $1.665 trillion. Fiscal year 25, of which we are voting to complete with this CR, is $1.658 trillion. The reduction of $7 billion is because community project funding that has already been paid, already been approved as part of fiscal year 24, is not going to be double paid. So we are saving $7 billion by removing it, as it should be. Why would we pay for projects that have already been paid for? The fact is that we have to keep the government funded and open. Why anyone would vote to shut the government down is beyond me. And when Joe Biden was president of the United States, I voted every time to keep the government funded and open. And the idea that we're going to shut it down because the priorities changed, well, guess what? The administration changed.
He voted every time the Biden had a CR. I just think that has to end. Anytime a Democrat votes against one of ours, we got to vote against theirs from now on, right? Isn't that fair? Otherwise, we're suckers. Let's see where we're at over here. Let's get back to Baba Yaga. There she is. Oh, yeah. Roald Dahl presents.
If I yield 2 minutes to the gentlewoman from New York, the distinguished ranking member of the Commerce, Justice, Science Subcommittee, Ms. Meng.
Gentlelady is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today in opposition to this partisan bill.
All right, hold on. Hold on 1 second. She did not have a dress today, so she wore the bed sheet. That is a blue bed. I've been very generous to these Democrats. These are rich Washington, D.C. people. It's winter. And she looks like a napkin around her neck from lunch. She's got a napkin around her neck. That literally, there's no shape. What do you call that draping off the shoulders there? There's no shape. It is a blanket with a hole cut in it, tied around her middle. Yeah, it's a table runner. Right there. It's a table runner. She's on a picnic. You could, if she laid on her back, they'd think they were on a picnic. Okay. But I do want to hear what she has to say for just a second. We're going to give her a little clip.
As ranking member of the House Appropriations Subcommittee on CJS, I cannot stand by as the GOP slashes funding for law enforcement, the courts, NOAA, which includes the National Weather Service. This bill hurts our local police officers by taking away $247 million from their public safety technology and equipment. Additionally, it cuts $350 million from projects that support community efforts to prevent crime, improve law enforcement, to provide precincts with equipment to prevent car theft, and provide victims.
Okay, they were all handed out their fiscal worrisome talking points. Every Democrat was given a different stat, and they come and they roll out what's being pushed back. So no, lady. No, lady. It doesn't work. And there's the gal back there. Where's the beef? Where's the beef? Okay. Let's move ahead to our next Republican guy. Here we go.
Mr. Cole, who's done an excellent job of putting this continuing resolution together under difficult circumstances. The appropriators tried to come to an accommodation, but we weren't able to get there. So the best alternative we have today is this continuing resolution, which does good things for our country. It obviously keeps the government shutdown from happening, and the American people and to the American people, and fully funds our core government services. But something that I'm interested in, and I think most members are interested in, is our national security. This continues to fund our national security. It makes sure that the young men and women who serve our military, especially our enlisted soldiers, who are going to get a historic pay raise, the highest pay raise they've had in 40 years. A lot of these E1s that come in and make $11 an hour, their pay is going to be put up significantly. This is something that I think would need to happen. So I would hope my friends on the other side of the aisle would not vote to diminish these individuals' pay that they need very much.
I just want to see if there's one Democrat that votes for this thing. Remember this, that's the challenge that I have with Thomas Massey. Thomas Massey claims the Democrats are going to support this thing. He calls it a uniparty bill. And to my knowledge, not one Democrat is going to support this thing out of protest to Trump. They're not going to give Trump power. Are you kidding? This is their only thing that the Democrats have. So now they have to reverse engineer a bunch of reasons why, talking about all the cuts, saying, oh, they're cutting this, cutting that, so they're not going to support it. They're going to shut down the government. We already all know the narrative, so I'm trying to cut through the narrative. Okay, let's see who's next. Let's get to, there's Baba Yaga. Here we go.
It is recognized.
Thank you. Well, I'll tell you why I'm voting against this bill. It doesn't lower any of my constituents' costs. Instead, it gives the Trump administration free rein to continue its chaotic, lawless dismantling of U.S. influence in the world.
So, but we like that. We want the chaos and the lawlessness continued in the world. I'm going to give her a thumbs up on the sweater, a thumbs down on the undershirt. Little, I don't know why I don't like it. Little vague pattern there. But she's already calling out Trump. Yeah, bad dry hair. Okay. Do women wear hats anymore? Couldn't she wear a cool, big, giant, big brimmed hat? Big, beautiful Easter hat or something like when you go to the horse races? Okay. We're going to continue with this lady here. I like the sweater. I'm a sweater guy. That's a fine number. Probably could use a little bit tighter, but the undershirt. I think a nice, I think plain, she could have gone with white or black, and she went with speckled white and black. I think you can pick a solid here.
Gutting nearly all our humanitarian development, security, and global health programs that
And you know, gold jewelry, I have to say she has silver hair. I just always think silver goes better with silver hair. I think nice, bright, shiny silver would work.
constitute less than 1% of our federal budget. And these are not serious cost-saving measures. Instead, they make us less safe, less prosperous, less healthy. Counterterrorism programs halted, contracts with American farmers canceled, our children are left wasting away, bird flu, Ebola, and HIV spreading, education programs ending, all done without any thought or
Anita,
any
you
reason.
can't say
And the
that.
vacuums left for China, Russia, and extremists to fill. We should not be handing this president a blank check to continue his harmful sledgehammer approach to how we spend taxpayer money. I urge a resounding no vote on this bill.
Gentlelady from Connecticut reserves. The gentleman from Oklahoma is recognized.
That's a Democrat. She says no vote on this bill, exactly like Rand Paul and Thomas Massey. What does she know that we don't know?
The agencies that operate them. Programs are not fully funded and protected if there's no one there to operate them. Under President Trump, spending bills have become a farce. He's not following the previous spending bills law that we passed. Are we saying, well, this time we really mean it? This time the president really promises he's going to follow the law. And that we don't get to the point where Article 1 is optional. Our constituents are asking us, however great you say this bill is, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, they're going to blame us because we believed you this time. And we believed the president who, when he gets in the room with the truth, a fight breaks out, as we have seen time again in the last month. So don't, with all due respect, don't tell us what's in this bill, how great it is, how we need to read it when he doesn't have to follow it. And you don't complain when he doesn't follow it, and you abdicate your responsibilities on Article 1 and as appropriators. And I yield back.
Members are reminded to refrain from engaging in personalities towards the United States president. Gentlelady from Connecticut reserves. Gentleman from Oklahoma is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I continue to reserve my time.
Gentleman reserves. Gentlelady from Connecticut recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I yield 1 minute to the gentleman from New Jersey, the distinguished ranking member of the Energy and Commerce Committee, Mr. Pallone.
Gentleman's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. One of my colleagues on the Republican side earlier asked what Democrats are fighting for. And I want to say I'm a proud Democrat fighting for America's health care. And I want to stress that this partisan Republican bill cuts American health care. This bill slashes funding for our community health centers, which provide care for millions of people.
All right, we're going to get through this. We've already heard everything that the budget, doesn't cover and what it slashes.
Committee, Ms. Velasquez.
Anytime they say that they're cutting, that our government is cutting spending, guys, with what our government spends, it is immoral. Even to spend as much money as our government does on good works. I don't care if it's veterans. I don't care if it's welfare. I don't care if it's feeding starving children. It is immoral for our government to take money from you and me and spend it on these things. Let us keep our own money. I'll pay for my own retirement. I'll pay for my own health care. I'll pay for my own medical insurance. Quit taking my money and redistributing it. $5 super chat, Craig Nelson. Thanks for keeping the channel going. Craig Nelson, $5. We are out of exile, not in exile. I'm still in exile until I get stop paying for a government that wastes, first of all, $1 trillion on paying down an interest on the debt. Another $1 trillion on who knows what. Look at all these programs. Is our government the United States of programs? We should just call it that. Can we just call ourselves the United States of welfare yet? And say, hey, everybody, you don't have to reproduce and have children take care of you. You don't have to take care of yourself. You don't have to work hard and pay for your own health insurance, life insurance, medical insurance. But even though you spent money on it all day, of course you can't afford it. The prices are all jacked up because the government pays for half of it. Just like the student loans. Once the government started paying for our student loans, guess what? Student loans doubled. They're like, we're getting all this free government money. Why not double the price? Everything the government touches gets more expensive and less useful. I'm just saying, just picture if you your entire life got to pay, about 90% less taxes, what would you do with that money? I think we'd all be a lot better off. That's all I'm saying. Okay, let me keep scrubbing ahead here. Next speaker, please. We're getting caught up. Here we go. Another Democrat. This go.
From veterans benefits.
Holy smokes, that's a smoking good outfit. I think the shirt's black. It's a little dark against the blue. She's got a nice dark red number down below. Tasteful piece of jewelry. Good hair. This lady's got some fashion sense.
Turning its back on the brave men and women who serve our country. It guts health care, leaving families, children, and seniors vulnerable.
Okay, unfortunately, we're going to need a translator because I can't understand you. I feel like I need to order the number 11 chimichanga and 2 tacos.
And it slashes affordable housing, putting thousands, including veterans, domestic violence survivors, and people with disabilities at risk of losing their homes. If these cuts weren't bad enough, the vice president said this morning that this administration will continue to refuse to spend money on programs they don't like. I will not vote for a CR that greenlights these dangerous cuts. Democrats are ready to fund the government, but we will not stand by while Republicans sell out the people we are sworn to serve. I urge my colleagues to reject this
Gentlelady's time's
dangerous
expired.
bill. I yield back.
Gentlelady reserves. Gentleman recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I continue to reserve.
Gentleman reserves. Gentlelady is recognized.
I yield 1 minute to the gentleman from California, the distinguished ranking member of the Veterans Affairs Committee, Mr. Takano.
We must drain their essence. You want the conjunction? The great conjunction of the dark crystal is at hand. Ha 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 ha.
What in the world? This is a character I'd roll up for Dungeons and Dragons. Holy smokes. What is this? When I was an art major, this is what the teacher looks like in every art department. You can go to the most conservative art department in the world. You can go to Hillsdale College art department. This is what your art professor is going to look like.
Gentleman is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in opposition to this partisan Republican spending bill because it guts the PACT Act. And
Dude, you didn't even bring your own visual aid. He used the Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Reuse. I call foul. Reuse on the visual aid. Or did they just leave it up there? We'll find out.
Abandons veterans exposed to burn pits and other toxins.
The automatic lie.
House Republicans claim to support the PACT Act, but their actions tell a different story.
Lie.
They're eliminating the funding for PACT Act recipients starting in October, cutting off critical health care and benefits for those who sacrifice for this country.
I am going to give him points for the suit, tie, shirt, pocket kerchief. It's tasteful. It's reasonable. His hair is reasonable.
Last Congress, Democrats forced Republicans to fully fund this critical program. Now Republicans are taking Elon's chainsaw to...
He referenced to Elon chainsaw. Guy, that brand is like, that's a 2-week-old meme. Come on. Okay, so they're doing the Elon Musk chain. Oh, goodness. Holy cow. She's going to speak. I got to get to the super chat first. Susan Szymanski, $50 super chat. This is so painful. Thank goodness for your comments, Doug. Thank you. Susan, I think that might tip us over the top to buy us a live stream tomorrow. Live. It'll either be 3 p.m. or 5 p.m. We'll aim for either 3 p.m. or 5 p.m. Check in, and hopefully we'll be live because you guys have made up for what my channel loses every time I do a live stream. If you guys pay for it, I'll keep showing up. So thank you. But let's get this lady up here. She's going to throw down a stanky hip hop number. Let's go, everybody.
This CR is an act of fiscal sabotage against the District of Columbia and abuse of Congress's power over disenfranchised DC.
She's got a lot of pages to get through.
This CR will result in an immediate cut of more than $1 billion from DC's $21 billion budget 6 months into DC's fiscal year.
How bad? How can that be bad? Cutting $1 billion into DC's $21 billion they're going to spend this year. How is that? She's making our case. Okay, and I like her shirt. I like her coat, little baggy and frumpy, but I like the coat and I like the pearls. I think her outfit works. The hair, you could go bald. You could go with a hat. I don't know about the shortcut on this one. I think I would go bald or hat or wig. Okay. But you know, the ladies, you got to give them a lot of leeway on their own fashion sense on these things. Let's have her get through a few more pages of this stuff.
For the last 20 years, DC has been able to operate under the local budget enacted by DC for the next fiscal year. For the duration of every CR. This CR does not allow DC to do so. Instead, the CR effectively repeals the fiscal year 2025 local budget enacted by DC, which DC has been operating under for 6 months, and restores the fiscal year 2024 local budget enacted by DC, which DC stopped.
Look, you can't just read text. If you're a public speaker, you have to have inflection. You do a pause in there. I'm not a big reader either. Look at this. That's why I don't read my content. I tend to just speak it because then you can put inflection in. You can emphasize things. You can do pauses for dramatic effect. When you just read, there's AI that reads more human than this. So I'm not for the lack of performance here. I think in general, you have to be a little more generous with your soul and give a little more of yourself. Let it flower, lady. You know, how do you get some of these Democrats like AOC or Ilhan Omar, and they're up there, hey, they're screaming. This lady, you got to spend some calories on your people.
Operating under 6 months ago. This cut to DC's local budget does not have the federal government any money because of DC's local budget consists entirely of locally raised revenue. I urge voters to vote no.
Time's expired. Gentleman from Oklahoma is recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I continue to reserve.
The gentlewoman's time has expired.
Oh, she's speaking still.
In that case, may I inquire how much time I have, Mr. Speaker?
You have 6 minutes.
I won't use it all, but I
That's
yield
okay.
myself the balance of my time. You know, been an interesting debate. Been a lot of things said that are exaggerations. A lot of things said, in my view, that are fabrications. Let's talk about a few of those. There's nothing in this bill about Social Security. There's nothing in this bill about Medicare. There's nothing in this bill about Medicaid. There aren't cuts in nutrition for the poor. There's a $500 million increase in WIC at the request of the president. There's not.
The president, he wanted to give $500 million for nutrition for the poor. Okay. So now the Republicans were being welfare. Now the right's the same as the left, but I'm giving President Trump his mandate, guys. I think it's important. You don't go 40 days into the Trump presidency and then start going all fiscally conservative on him. Let's give him a little bit of runway on the ramp. You know, and it's like having a plane take off on a ramp and people are already complaining about how bad the gas mileage is. He hasn't even gotten the plane off the ramp yet, guys. We got to let him give the president a little room to do his stuff. In September, if he's not going in and being fiscally conservative, or this is a continued resolution bill. This isn't even the budget. This is the budget to get you through September. Trump wanted the big bill. Remember, he wanted the big one with everything in it. It's going to be the next 4 years or 10 years or whatever. That bill, we can all jump on and say, hey, there's pork all over this thing. Why are you? I will not get on people if they choose to go against it, including Republicans. But this one, you got to let them keep the lights on this week, or the lights shut down on Friday. The government closes on Friday if this does not pass.
Cuts in housing. There's an increase in housing to try and adjust for inflation. We'd have been better off probably if we'd negotiated a deal, but that didn't happen. So proactive thing. There's more money in here to take care of junior enlisted personnel. I don't think that's probably an article of much dispute. It certainly shouldn't be. And I can go charge by charge. Yes, on the toxic burn or toxic exposure fund, we're going to deal with that in the 26 bill. It's for 26. Everything's funded for 25. That's what this bill covers. It's an appropriations bill for FY25. So that's what we're covering here. We're going to deal with the 26 bill, and then we'll deal with that issue. I voted for the PAC Act. I believe in it. I voted for additional funding for it. I suspect we'll find common ground there. So there's a lot of, fireworks around this bill. Let's just talk about what it does. Pretty simple, guys. It's a CR. It's a continuing resolution. Your own leadership came out against it before they ever.
I'm with you. That mustard dress that walked in, that's a great color. Little dumpy, little potato sacky on this gal. But I saw that color come in and I go, ooh, that works.
Or saw it. Maybe that's why we have all these fabrications and hallucinations about what's in it. It's pretty short. It's 99 pages. Read it. Now, I'm sorry everybody didn't get their projects. I really am sorry about that. We don't do that in CRs. So the big cuts here are mostly the elimination of congressional projects. I think most of those are worthy. I support them. I actually support the reform some of my friend, the good friend, the ranking member, put in there. I think she did a great job for this institution.
It's true. I've got a couple of crushed velvet couches with that exact mustard shape and on the shag carpet. Remember the big table and you'd have the big glass grapes on it? Big glass grapes, macrame, plant holder in the back with jute beads, woven macrame, or those, the beads that hang down on strings. All right, let's skip ahead a little more, guys. We're just a few minutes behind here. We're going to keep going. Let's see where we're at on the big guy.
The House Resolution 211. The previous question is ordered on the bill as amended. The question is on engrossment and third reading of the bill. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no.
No.
The ayes have it. Third reading.
A bill making further continuing appropriations and other extensions for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2025, and for other purposes.
I'm also, hold on, let's get back there a minute, because I always have a little covetous moment every time I see this one too. I'm coveting right now. Can you guys see what? Hold on.
This question is.
Where did it go? I got to scrub. Come on. Where'd that lady go? What did I miss there? Right there. Come on.
Pursuant to clause 2.
Dang it. I'm going to have to just skip the joke. Look at, really? YouTube is not letting me land right on it. Come on. Okay, look at that inkwell back there. Those 3 inkwells. Look at that silver pot. Now, I'm an ink and brush artist. All those comic pages I just showed you guys. I just showed you these comics here. Right here. Let's get a comic page back on screen, shall we? Look at that. You see that? This is India ink on paper. That's my art. That's a construction worker down there. Rumble, rumble, something's happening underground. I use that ink and that dip pen ink and brush. That's what I use right back there. Look at that. Look at that silver. If I was in that chamber, I wouldn't be stealing the podium. I'd be stealing, look at that thing. Ink, and that's ink for signing documents. Ooh, I'm coveting.
And other extensions for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2025, and for other purposes.
For what purpose does the gentlewoman from New York seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, I have a motion to recommit at the desk.
Clerk will read the motion.
Ms. Ming of New York moves to recommit the bill H.R. 1968 to the Committee on Appropriations.
Pursuant to Clause 2B of Rule 19, the previous question is ordered on the motion to recommit. The question is on the motion. Those in favor say aye.
Okay, here comes the vote.
Those opposed say no. The noes have it. The motion is not.
Speaker, I ask for the yeas and nays.
Up,
The
they're
yeas
going
and
to
nays
count them.
are requested. Those favoring a vote by the yeas and nays will rise. A sufficient number having arisen, the yeas and nays are ordered. Pursuant to Clause 8, Rule 20, further proceedings on the question will be postponed. Proceedings will resume on questions previously postponed. Votes will be taken in the following order. Passage of H.R. 1156, the motion to recommit on H.R. 1968, and passage of H.R. 1968, if ordered, as well as passes on House Joint Resolution 25. First vote will be a 15-minute vote. Pursuant to Clause 9, Rule 20, remaining votes will be 5
Here comes
minutes.
the vote.
Pursuant to Clause 8 of Rule 20, the unfinished business is on the vote of H.R. 1156, on whether the yeas and nays are ordered. Clerk will report the title.
Union Calendar number 2, H.R. 1156, a bill to amend the CARES Act to extend the statute of limitations for fraud under certain unemployment programs and for other purposes.
Question is on the passage of the bill. Members record their votes by electronic device. This is a 15-minute vote.
Okay, they're going to vote for 15 minutes. I'm showing you guys some of my Earthworm Jim comic art, which you can buy at my Shopify store. Usually there's a link in the description. I don't know about this description, but you can buy my books at the Shopify. The Doug TenNapel Library is what it's called. I got some lovely Earthworm Jim books. Look, it's got adventure for the whole family. It's a sci-fi comedy. That's the big queen, this insect queen over here. Kabam! Okay, there. There, that's my commercial. Some of you guys wanted to see some Earthworm Jim art. There you go. Now let's get to this big screen here on the vote. Now they're hand counting as they come up and give their vote. They're looking around. Republicans 35, yay. There's Democrat, yay. 5, nay. 15. $14 minutes left. Looks like the totals are getting up there. We got 48 going up. Okay, I'm going to skip ahead. Time remaining, 10 minutes. I'm going to skip ahead. 7 minutes, 6 minutes. We're moving through time together, guys. Four minutes. I don't know what number we're trying to get to even. Yeah, you guys, a lot of you guys buy I sell a lot of books to you guys every month. Just look in some of my videos, have a link in the description for my book sales. Okay. 3 minutes left. I'm going to skip ahead because this is past history if I get caught up here. Let's do 111. 37 seconds. Looks like we got for the House 226 to 91 so far. So it's overwhelmingly yes on passage. Oh, I don't know if they need a supermajority or not, by the way. I don't know how any of this works. We'll find out. We'll see what they have to say in 10 seconds. Thank you guys for joining me. Super chats are open, of course, but our next episode's already paid for. We've already raised $100, but if you want to chip in, and we love when everyone chips in, we will do another live show tomorrow, either 3 o'clock or 5 o'clock Central Time. This is on the bill to avoid the government shutdown. I'll do a video on this later, but I just got a note. It says, breaking, Department of Education will begin sweeping layoffs tonight with about half of its 4,400 employees expected to be let go. Employees are being told to vacate the building by 6 p.m. today from the Trump administration. That's half. So 4,400, about 2,200 employees are being let go tonight from the Department of Education. That does not mean your schools are shut down. that means just a massive waste is getting shut down. That's other news on Doge. Hold on, let me get our votes back up here. This is from Tim Burchett 19 minutes ago. Democrats are now attempting to shut down the government because of Doge. Yeah, we got to get, I want Trump to get his agenda. I hope they went to trade school. My son is looking at the trade school, my 18-year-old. He's either going to trade school or he's looking at the Marines. I think he's leaning toward the Marines, which I'm happy with, but it's up to him. He's in England right now on a school trip. Yeah, I posted on this one. Did you happen to hear that Jamie White was killed from Alex Jones' team? Yeah, Jamie White was one of the reporters. He was murdered last night or night before last in his house, right after he retweeted Elon Musk about Democrats being too violent. But apparently he got shot in the arm and it went through his neck or something. Son just joined the army. Tell him thank you for your service from me. I don't know, it's taken so long. Now, let me see if there's any more meat over here on the bone. I can skip ahead to, no, there it is. They're not bringing it back into a quorum here. All right, we're all caught up. Now we're back to live here on, this is Fox that we're doing our commentary on. Yay, 295 to 127. Oh, here's other news. Rosie O'Donnell confirmed she has fled
on this
the United
vote.
States.
The yeas are 295. The nays are 127. The bill is passed.
Okay.
Without objection, a motion to reconsider is laid on the table. Pursuant to Clause 8 of Rule 20, the unfinished business is the question of agreeing on the motion to recommit on H.R. 1968, offered by the gentlewoman from New York, Ms. Meng, on which the yeas and nays were ordered. The clerk will redesignate the motion.
Motion to recommit H.R. 1968, offered by Ms. Meng of New York.
The question is on agreeing to the motion to recommit. Members will record their votes by electronic device. This is a 5-minute vote.
Okay, now we're here for 5 minutes. I don't know what for. It sounds like some kind of a reinforcement of the vote they just took. No idea. I guess I should know what I'm doing, but what I thought that was it. I thought the vote, that was it. If you guys have any news, let me know in the comments below. Oh, there it is. That's hopeful, unestablishmentarianist. The motion to recommit is the minority's last opportunity to amend a bill before the final passage. So this is where they throw in the part where everyone must be transed by force by the government. And yeah, someone mentioned earlier that I was wrong on this, that I said it would not go through. And once again, yes, I'm wrong. Here's something just in. Ontario Premier Doug Ford up in Canada has decided he's not going to tax the United States residents and electric users 25%, which he threatened. So he's backing down. I think everyone's going to back down from their tariffs is what's next. Other news, Trump just bought a Tesla off of Elon Musk, an official White House Tesla he bought. Here's Charlotte Kane. Doug, why would you vote against the American people in our President Trump? I didn't vote against him. I said I thought that it wouldn't go through. I just didn't have confidence. Yeah, there's Trump in the new Tesla. Yeah, I just saw that. Yeah, a lot of Democrats worried about the grift. Well, no side wants to shut down the government. You really don't want to cut anything military, you cut the government, shut the government down if you defund it. That should be held for an emergency only, and it's not an emergency. So Democrats threatened it. They didn't really want to do it. They didn't have anything to back it up. And we've got another minute and 26 seconds. Well, the Democrats are doing yes votes. Like I said, there's a lot of Republicans that vote for the CRs, even when Democrats do it, because no one wants to face the American people and say, we shut down the government. When your check doesn't come in and your mail doesn't deliver, no one wants to look at Republican or Democrat. You become incredibly unpopular with the people. I'm all for government shutdowns.
Independent lab tests have proven that Husky liners with our ProGuard formula are over 70% more durable than the leading brand.
Okay. There, I just turned down the commercial here. Notice the commercial, how all their clothes are perfect. If you're in a commercial, you're getting correct, proper stuff. Okay, here we go. Get the volume back up. $20 seconds. There's nothing. I know I should hit skip. I hit skip on the commercial. Okay. I love Husky brand. Robert Christian. Was that the CR vote? Yeah, but this is a slightly different vote in that this is the Democrats' last chance to revisit the thing and add something to it, I believe. So this is much closer. So this one, the Democrats are 213, Republicans 216 nay. So they're saying, nay, we don't want you to be able to revisit it and add pork. Here goes.
I won't let this vote. Does anyone wish to change your vote?
No time left. All votes. Pencils down.
On this vote, the yeas are 213 and the nays are 216. The motion is not adopted. The question is on the passage of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, please say no. The ayes have it.
That's it.
The gentlewoman from Connecticut.
On that, I request the yeas and nays.
The yeas and nays are requested. Those favoring a vote by the yeas and nays will rise. A sufficient number having risen, the yeas and nays are ordered. Members will record their vote by electronic device. This is a 5-minute vote.
Again? Goodness. All right. They're doing their electronic device now to get a more accurate head count. Well, it's electronic. It should be much faster. So they have their little device and they boop, put in their vote. Yeah, sometimes, I mean, this is your government, guys. It's made to be slow, methodical, a little too slow, a little too methodical. And the rest of the world, we're like going like this. And your government is, they call it the cooling saucer. Our House of Representatives and our Senate, it's meant to slow things down and keep people from being overheated and quickly just reflexive. So it's very deliberative. Some of these things can take days. We have one Republican nay. Ooh, who's that? I wonder. Electronic nay. Who's voting with the Democrats? Is that Thomas Massey? Look at all the nays racking up now. Ooh, we're barely ahead now. Can we get another Husky commercial? You guys are cracking me up. See, I have the best audience in the world. You guys are funny as heck. Thank you. And you have good taste in art, of course. It's Massey. I know it is. He's just being difficult and obstinate because Trump said he was going to primary him. So now I don't think Trump is going to primary him. But I do think Trump's pressure on it does not work on guys like Massey. That guy's recalcitrant. You're not going to bend him. So you can either primary him, 2 minutes, 2-minute warning. Okay, looks like the nays have it. No to revisit, so that means the original vote passes. There's my Earthworm Jim people coming out. I'm the creator of, for the guys who don't know, I'm creator of Earthworm Jim. It was a big deal in the 90s. Earthworm Jim video game character. I did the animation, did his voice, did the game design, created all the characters. And that started my career in animated television, where from the mid-90s through, I would say, the 2000s, I did a show called Cat Scratch on Nickelodeon. Around 2012, I took over the Veggie Tales for 4 years, and I was the showrunner, redesigned the whole show, ran the whole crew, got us our first daytime Emmy Award on the show in its 20-year history. And now I'm doing YouTube news. Oh, what's this say? This is Gary Gaines. You want a yes on this one. Is that true? Okay. Oh, nay means no additions to the bill. Yeah. Yeah, I directed Phil and Mike in about 152 episodes of the show, so I got to direct him. He's actually a very talented voice actor. Just a sad shell of a man, though. Total pro Black Lives Matter. Just pray for him there. Yeah, we got the bill passed. We got the CR passed with flying colors. This is just kind of the backup where they're going, are you sure? Zero, timeout. Here we go. Electronic. Totals.
On this vote, the yeas are 217, the nays are 213. The bill is passed without objection. The motion to reconsider is laid upon the table.
Passed without objection. The right side, the Republicans are all clapping.
Pursuant to Clause 8 of Rule 20, the unfinished business is on the vote of the passage of HJ 25, on which the yeas and nays are ordered. Clerk will report the title of the joint resolution.
Union Calendar Number 3, House Joint Resolution 25, Joint Resolution providing for congressional disapproval under Chapter 8 of Title 5 United States Code of the rules submitted by the Internal Revenue Service.
Okay, and on that happy note, I got to wrap this thing up. Thank you guys for the super chats. Paying for tomorrow's episode in advance. We always appreciate that. As long as you guys keep paying for the deficit that these shows kill my channel with doing live. I love doing live. And we just went through a very slow sausage making process of the continued resolution. We have the government funded through September. So now Thomas Massey, who I love, is a bad guy. Rand Paul, you know, I don't know. I'll get more accurate notes on this whole thing. We'll see how the shakeout goes tonight. I'll try and do a wrap up episode on this thing tomorrow, where I'll give you guys kind of the total rundown on this thing. But this was a great, I like, you know, we do a lot of commentary on the news and on government, and I don't think that tells the whole story. You know what I mean? You have to go into this chamber and see what the heck is going on in there to really know what's going on, because that's your true government, guys. Here it is. Park Plus, $5 super chat. Thanks for everything, Doug. Thank you so much for those super chats. It really helps. Keep it going. We're celebrating the continued resolution pass. Even if you're against the continued resolution, at the very least, you can see how this is a huge win for Trump. I got some other winners. Huge win for Mike Johnson. Once again, Speaker Mike Johnson pulled it off. So he's kept the government funded, which has now been a huge win for Team Elon Musk and Doge and the exposure of our government. Losers are all the Democrats, and losers are Thomas Massey and Rand Paul, you know, who we're fans of, but we'll see if there's any fallout. Personally, I think, you know, Thomas Massey and Trump have a handshake in a golf game or whatever. I don't know if Thomas Massey's ready to play ball or not, but it might be. I don't know how long their memories are going to be, but Trump did put some pressure on the guy. And then we'll see what the fallout is this thing, or the benefits are in the morning. I know this is good for Trump's momentum. This is good for Trump's momentum because it reinforces that he still has a strong hand and the Trump honeymoon is still going a little more. I didn't want it to end 45 days in, guys, and suddenly have Trump rack up a loss. It was important that he win this. So this is good for momentum coming out. Okay. And yeah, someone said Rand Paul can be forgiven. I agree with Massey and Rand Paul. I wish they were more on board with this stuff, not because I want to spend a bunch of government money. I hate government spending money, right? We're all against this pork and this garbage and spending on US aid, and it didn't cut enough. We're all on board with that, but it's a different tactic. This is tactics. You got to fund the government and fund all this garbage so that Trump and Elon Musk can go in and reform everything. And I'm looking forward to way more fiscal responsibility in the future from Donald Trump. That's a position I'm willing to give him that space for now through September. And on that happy note, thank you guys for joining us. I always say this, I do not thank you guys enough. I can't express how thankful I am to have you in my audience, because I don't want to put on a show for nobody. I want to put on a show for you, but I also want a bunch of conservative, God-fearing family men and women, patriots in my audience. And that's exactly what I got. So I got a bunch of you. There's a bunch of lunatics out there. I don't need lunatics in my office. I mean, some of you are lunatics. I need the cool lunatics. Okay. I got cool lunatics in my office. We like news. We like news as entertainment. We like a little bit of humor. Sometimes we like me ranting and screaming my head off, but usually it's just me finding the major articles during the day that I really feel like it would be a shame if you missed out on them. So that's what I'm looking for. Go Political, $5 super chat. Great stream, Doug. Long time viewer fan from the original 500,000 who is glad to have found your new channel. Yeah. It's very hard to find my channel because I changed the name from Doug in Exile to Doug to Naple. So it screws up the entire algorithm program, the YouTube, the finding computing thing. So it's actually difficult for my old audience to even find me, but you guys found me, and we watch 5 episodes a day all the way through. And that's what keeps me happy. If I'm doing the work, I just want an audience. So thank you guys. And you guys fulfill me as a YouTube creator. I'm Doug in Exile. Live